Hello everyone, welcome to this informative video about the simulator training for the Milky Way project, certification number 2. If you're watching this video, it means that you have just started the qualification process to join the Milky Way project, and as you know, you will have to pass 2 certifications in one form. The first certification is based on theoretical questions about the guidelines to see if you have understood them correctly, while the second one is a simplified version of the actual work that you will do for the project, once qualified, of course. We have provided you with a simulator for certification 2, so you can practice the whole research and rating process before taking the actual test. And this video is aimed at showing you how you should approach this task. We will analyze the first steps to take when facing a new query. So the first thing to do is understand the query. That is, understanding what the user is looking for. When using a map application, a user can be looking for a chain business like Starbucks, a train station, a specific address, a specific point of interest, etc. Secondly, you have to identify the location intent, that is, where the results are expected to be in order to be relevant to the request from the user. Then you will have to evaluate the relevance of the result presented according to the query. A result is relevant when it satisfies the request of the user, and since several results can do that, you have to rate them from best to worst. Finally, you will have to check the data accuracy relative to the result presented. That is, are the name, address, PIN indicated correct or not? Let's see this in more detail. So, the first step is to understand the query. The query is the request from the user, what they're looking for in a map application. The user can look for different types of results. So you can have chain business queries, transit queries, address queries, specific POIs queries, etc. And each case is rated differently. Since each scenario has its specifics, you should always go back to the guidelines and look for example of your specific case. Once you know what the user is looking for, you should know where they want the results to be. If the user indicates in the query itself where they expect the results to be, let's say that the query is a chain business plus a specific neighborhood or a specific locality, or else the user uses expressions like near me, the results are expected where indicated in the query and will be relevant if they meet these requirements. If the user doesn't indicate openly where they want the results to be, we need to check viewport age and user location. So, when the viewport is fresh, so the viewport age is fresh, and the user is inside of the viewport, take the user location as location intent. So results are expected near the user location. When the viewport is fresh but the user is outside of the viewport, results are expected in or near the viewport area. When the viewport is instead stale, so viewport age is stale, consider only the user location as location intent. Once you have all this information, so what results the user wants and where they want them to be, you have to rate relevance of the result presented. This means how satisfying would this result be according to the request of the user. Remember that you have to research any possible result that could satisfy the user request in the location intent and rate the result according to your findings. So you don't have to take into consideration only the results that you see on the map, but also all the possible results there can be in the real world. Last step is rating the accuracy of the data presented. So you will be asked to rate the accuracy of the data related to the result. That is, are name, address, and PIN indicated for the result correct or not? Example of this could be, for example, the name of the result is misspelled, or the street number or postal code reported in the address are incorrect, or else the PIN falls on the rooftop area of a different business. All these errors should be reported when rating name, address, and PIN accuracy. Now that we have seen all the things one should take into consideration while rating, let's see how this practically applies. Okay, we will now rate some of the simulator surveys together so I can show you the whole rating process. Okay, we have selected 3 different surveys because we have 3 different types of queries. So it's good to have a look at how to rate different case scenarios. Okay, so the first one we have is this one. So as you can see here, we are in the simulator page here, and we are rating this specific query. The query is, in this case, gym near me. So let's first, before we start rating, let's have a look at all the elements that we have here. So first of all, we have, of course, the map. So in this map, as you can see, we have all the elements necessary to rate. We have the pin of the results. We have here in the star form, the star shape, the position of the user with the specific coordinates, and this square right here, this gray square right here, represents the viewport. Okay, so we already know what are all these elements. Now let's analyze the tables we have here. So the first thing we see is the query locale. So the query locale indicates where the user that submitted the query is from. In this case, and for certification number 2 and the first exam on the client platform, all the queries will be from American users. Okay, so all the queries will be in English and all the results will be located in the United States. Then, of course, we have the query. So the query, as we said, is what the user is looking for. It represents the request of the user. And we have to rate the relevance of the results according to this request made by the user. Here, after the query, we have the viewport age. In this case, we know that the viewport age is stale, but as you know, it can be also fresh or stale. And this changes where the results are expected. This and a combination of the user location tell us where the relevant results are expected. Okay. Then, of course, we have here the result to rate. So as you can see, we have here for result number 1, legacy gym. I suggest you to always have a look at the pin. So if you select the pins, you will see that each pin corresponds to a different result. And in order to rate correctly, we have to identify which pin corresponds to our result. So in this case, for each query in the simulator and in the certification number 2, you will always have 3 results for each query. Okay, so in this case, since we have the number 1 here, the results to rate will be result number 1 for this specific query. In the map, you will see all 3 results. So in order to understand what pin you are rating, you have to check this on the map. So select the pins, and if we select the red one, we see that this corresponds to our results. Okay, so we have legacy gym here, legacy gym here. If we select on the red pin, so the pin we are rating is exactly this one. This pin corresponds to the result legacy gym. Okay. Here in the table of the result, of course, we also have all the other information. So we have the address. This is the address we are evaluating for address accuracy. We have the classification of the result, distance to user, distance to viewport, and the coordinates of the specific result. Here we have some checkboxes we have to check if they apply to our case, and then of course we have the attributes to rate. So we have relevance with all the possible ratings, name accuracy, address accuracy, pin accuracy, and of course the comment box. But we will see this in detail now that we rate this survey together. So now that we know what we have here, what the template is about, let's start rating. So as I explained first earlier, the first step is understanding the query. So first step is to understand what the user is looking for. In this case, the query we have here is gym near me. So we understand that the user is looking for a gym, and specifically they want the gym to be near the user location. So near me means near the user location. Again, the user location is indicated in the map by this blue star right here. And you also have the coordinates here to know precisely where the user is located in the map. Okay, so since in this case we have the indication near me, we can disregard viewport age, because in this case the query already tells us where the user wants the results to be. The location intent, so the second step, understanding the location intent, is already explained here in the query, because the user itself stated that they want the results to be near me. So now that we know what the user is looking for, so a category, because in this case the user is looking for a generic category, okay, the category gym. The user is not looking for a specific gym, but any gym, in this case the closest, will be the best result for the user. Okay, so the first question that we get here is exactly this one. Is there a navigational result for this query? So this specific question right here refers specifically to the query itself. You can ignore the result you have, because this is can be understood and answered only by looking at the query itself. Because in this case, what does navigation result mean? A navigational result is a result that is unique. Okay, so is basically this question asks you, is the user looking for a unique result, a unique POI and stuff like that. Since here we have a category and any result that belongs to this category would be satisfying for the user, in this case we have to select no, because the user is not looking for a specific place, but any gym will do. Okay. Then here we have, of course, the result. So we have this gym right here called Legacy Gym, or at least this is the information we have about the result here in the platform. As I said, we have the address, the classification, it is classified as sports, so it would be a gym. It's okay. And we have the address also reported here. Now, let's see if these checkboxes apply or no. So the first one tells you result name or title is in an expected language or script. So the result name title is this part right here. This is the result name title, okay? And this checkbox should be checked only when the result, the name of the result is in an unexpected language. So what is an unexpected language? It's easy to understand if we understand what is the expected language. So in order to understand the expected language, we have to look here at the query locale and US. So since the user is from the US, and in the US they speak English, the expected language for a user from this country would be English. So if the name reported here would be in another language except English, this checkbox would apply. Okay, let's say that the name reported here for this result is in French, German, Italian, wherever. Any other language that is not English would be an issue, would be an error, and that would be the case for selecting this checkbox right here. Since we are in the US, because if we zoom out a little bit here, we see that we are located in the United States. The query locale of the user is the and US, so English for United States. The name is in English. Everything is in the expected language, so this one does not apply. The second checkbox right here tells us business POI is closed or does not exist. So this box right here should be ticked when the result to rate, in this case legacy GIM, appears to be closed or non-existent. So how can we verify this and see if this box should be checked or not? We have to look for information about these results specifically. How can we do that? We go to, for example, Google. So let's go to Google and look for information about, information about these results. So usually to look for information about a specific result, we can use the name and also the address. Sorry, this one. Here, so name plus address. And we have to find an official resource that we can use so that we can verify if this result right here is open or not. So as you can see here, when you look for any POI, any business on Google, you will always have this section right here, which is the, let's say, an automatic response that you get from a search engine like Google. You cannot use this information to verify the data, okay? You only have to use official resources to verify the data when doing the exams and actually work for the project. So you cannot use this information right here, okay? Here within our results, we see that there is actually an official website for this specific GIM. So we have Legacy GIM. This one looks like the official website. And here you can see that this is the official website of the result right here. So we can use this official resource to actually verify whether this result exists or not, and later also the accuracy of the data presented. So here we have a website dedicated to this GIM. So this already tells us that it is at least active, right? Another way to verify whether a result is open or not is looking in Google Maps. So let's go to Google Maps here and have a look at Street View to see if this result is actually present and visible. So you go to Google Maps, I am looking for the address reported and see if at that address we actually have the legacy gym. So here we have the map. We can use this puppet right here and move it to the street to have an actual street imagery. As you can see here, we can see the actual place. Okay, so this is where the address indicated is, and if we zoom a little bit here, we see that we have the legacy gym right here, exactly here. The street view is recent because it is within the a year, so the street view is from 2024, so it is decently recent. And now we have another proof that this POI actually exists, right? So we can say that the legacy gym is actually open. So going back to our template here, this box does not apply. Okay, this result right here actually exists, so this one does not apply. So now we can actually start rating the attributes. So the first attribute will be relevance. So again, relevance basically tells us if the result we have here actually is satisfying and at what degree the result is satisfying according to the request of the user, right? So in order to verify whether the result is satisfying or not, we have here already an indication of three possible results, right? Because we have the legacy gym, again the red pin, which is the actual pin of the gym we are looking for. But we also see that from here, distance to user is 70.2 kilometers. So it is very probable that there will be closer gyms that are closer to the user position. And already here we can see that, for example, result number 3 in Green Island Gym is way closer than result number 2 and result number 1. But as I said in the introduction, you should not only base your ratings on the pins that you already see here, but you have to also check other real-world results that could be here. So how can we do that? Basically, since in the query we have the location modifier near me, results are expected near the user. Okay, so we can take the coordinates of the user and go again to Google Maps. So if we look for the coordinates of the user, we would be exactly where the user is. So if we zoom a little bit more here, we can see, we can compare that we are in the same place. Okay, so a function that you have in Google Maps is that you can look for things near a specific point. So since we have the location intent, which is the user location, we used the location of the user here, and we can look for categories of POIs. So in this case, if we go for restaurant, here we activate, the function on Google Maps to look for specific POIs belonging to specific categories. Since we are looking for gyms, we should change restaurant with gym. Now the system will show you all the gyms that are near this specific location. So, as you can see, there are way more gyms that only those shown on the map on the platform, right? So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, more than 10, while here we only have the three results we have to rate, okay? So going back to Google Maps here, what you have to do here is uh, dividing all the possible results in those that are closer, those that are farther, and then those that are way farther away. So since this is the location intent, this is the center of our area, okay? So since we can select, we can see, for example, that this gym right here, if we go to directions, for example, you can see the distance that you have between a point to another. So for example, this one is 7 minutes by car of distance from the actual user. Okay, if we go back to all the gyms, we also see the legacy gym, for example, which is our result right here. If we compare it, it is exactly here, right? Because legacy gym is here, and it also shows on the on Google Maps, of course. So let's see, for example, the distance between the user and the gym. So this one is 24 minutes by car distance. You also have the miles. So as you can see, this is way more distant than all the others, the many results that you have. So if we go back here, the legacy gym is the farther away of the possible results. Okay, so these ones would be classified as excellent. Maybe this one, which is a little bit farther, as good. This could be acceptable, but the legacy gym falls under the bad category results, okay? Because it's really far if we compare this one to all the other possible results. Since there are many other possible results, this one should be rated as bad, should be demoted due to distance and rated bad. So after our analysis, we understand that the legacy gym unfortunately is not a satisfying result for the user according to their request. So we should rate relevance as bad in this case. And when you rate relevance below navigational or excellent, you will always have to indicate whether the issue was about user intent or distance prominence. So user intent should be used when the result itself does not satisfy the request of the user, in the sense that, for example, the user is looking for, in this case, the category gym, but the result is a restaurant with the name gym, for example. In that case, that would not be satisfying for the user, okay? Because that specific result doesn't belong to the category that the user was looking for, right? Distance prominent issue is exactly our case, because the legacy gym is a gym, so it belongs to the category that the user was looking for. But since there are better results that are closer to the location intent, we have to demote this because of distance. So we rate relevance as bad, and the reason for this is a distance prominent issue. Okay, so now we have rated relevance. So relevance, as I said, is strictly connected to the query, because a result is relevant if it satisfies the query. Okay? These other attributes, so name accuracy, address accuracy, and pin accuracy, are completely connected to the result itself. So a result can be not relevant, like this one as bad, but name accuracy, address accuracy, and pin accuracy could be perfect, because all the information reported here is correct. So the fact that relevance is bad does not influence the other attributes. So starting rating name accuracy. Name refers to this part right here, so the name of the result. Okay, we have to verify whether the name for this result is correct or not. Name accuracy also takes into consideration the classification given to the result itself. Okay, so you have to verify if the name is correct and if the classification given is correct. So according to the classification given sports, we can say that the classification for this POI, this result specifically, is correct, because sports, it's general, okay, it's not specific like gym or athletic gym or stuff like that, but since it is not misleading, even if the classification is a little more broad, it would be okay, because it is not misleading, it is not wrong. Okay, sports would be a good classification. So we now only have to verify the name. So how to verify the name of a result? We go back to the official website, to an official resource. In this case, we have found the official website here. So we can verify the name from this source right here. So as you can see here, we have welcome to Legacy Gym. Our staff would like to welcome you to Legacy Gym, Legacy Gym, Legacy Gym. Every time the result itself refers to their business, they refer to Legacy Gym with a space right here. While here, the name reported doesn't have this space. This would be an error, because of course the official name of this POI is Legacy Gym with a space and not all united. In these cases, when the name has an issue, is misspelled, but it can still be recognized, we should rate name accuracy as partially correct. So correct should be used when the name is perfect, it has no issue, the classification is correct. Partially correct should be used exactly in this case, when the name is wrong because it is misspelled, it is not the same name that business uses to refer to itself, but it is still recognizable by a person that sees this name, right? We still understand that it is the Legacy Gym. So we should demote not too harshly and only to partially correct. For address accuracy, we have to do the same, but with the address. Okay, so we have an address reported here in the address section, and we have to verify whether all the address components are correct or not. So let's go back to the official website again. Here we have hours and info, and we have a address reported here. Also, usually at the end of the website, you always find like a website, an address, a reference, or also in the contact section, contact us here. For example, you have all the information and also the address, the email. In the about us section of the website, also there's always information. blah blah blah. So we have to verify whether the address reported here in TradeRating or in the OneForm platform actually matches the address reported on the official website. So let's take this so we can compare the information that we have. So this is the address reported on the official website, right? So since we are rating United States queries, the address will be, of course, in the format used in this country. So usually US addresses are made of first street number, then street name, then the locality, then we have the country, and lastly we have the postal code. So this order should be respected in order for the address to be considered correct. So first we have the street number, right? So the street number reported here is 1891. We also have 1891. Then we have the street name, right? So Yellowstone Road. In this case, as you can see here, on the official website, they use the extended version of road, while in the address here, we only have the abbreviation, the abbreviated form. That would be RD. Since RD and road mean the same thing, like for example Ave and Avenue or street and ST, this should not be considered an error, okay? Since they mean the same thing, since they indicate the same street type, so in this case road, this is not an issue, this is not a problem, not an error we should report. So road, Rock Springs is the locality, Rock Springs matches the official website. Then we have the country, which is Wyoming in this case. Again, here it could be indicated as the abbreviated form, so only WY, or also the whole state name Wyoming. That would be not an issue, it's okay. And then we have the postal code, which is 82901, 82901. The address, all the elements of the address match the official website, so this means that the address is correct, and we have to rate address accuracy as correct. So since the address accuracy is correct, we do not have to check any of these boxes, which will be used when a specific address component has issues. Lastly, we have to rate PIN accuracy. So PIN accuracy basically is comparing, verifying whether the PIN reported here on the platform matches the actual location of the result in the real world. So how can we do that? We use again Google Maps. So now that we know we are referring to this specific result right here, we can use this one. So as you can see here, the actual location of the result is here. This is the polygon that represents the rooftop area of this result. So the pin, in order to be perfect, should be within this area right here. We have verified already through street imagery that this is exactly where the result is. So we know that this is the correct location of the result, right? So going back here to the platform, let's remove this. We see that actually the pin of the result, so here, if you see here, you go and you have legacy pin. In this case, the pin does not represent the actual location of the legacy gem, because here, again, let's take this and compare the two maps. Just a second here. Okay, sorry. This one. Okay, here. Here we can identify the same area, right? So the actual position of the legacy gem is here, which corresponds on our map on this part right here, this polygon right here. And we also have in the platform the actual pin of the gem, which is part of the map, not the pin we are rating. The pin we are rating is the red one, as we saw earlier, okay? And in this case, actually the pin falls on the wrong rooftop, okay? Because as I said, the pin, in order to be considered perfect, should fall on the rooftop area of this polygon right here, while on the platform the polygon is on another business. Okay, so we can already exclude the rating of perfect and approximate, because these do not apply. The only ratings that could apply in this case could be wrong and next door. So we have to verify whether this specific position here, if this rooftop area right here, can be classified as a next door pin. So let's say that we have doubts about next door. Let's go back to the guidelines. Okay, here you have the all the sections, and we also have a section dedicated to next door. So let's look for next door. Here you can look for specific keywords by clicking Ctrl F or Command F if you are on iOS, and look for a specific word in a document. So here we see that this is the section dedicated to pin accuracy next door. So let's see what the guidelines say about next door. So a pin is considered next door if it drops on the immediate property next to the intended one. A next door pin must be on the same street as the intended property. The next door property must share the same street name as the intended property, on the same side of the street as the intended property, the first property to any side of the intended property, on the same block as the intended property. So let's see if all these characteristics apply to our case. So going back here, so the pin should be here, right? We have the actual location of the POI on this rooftop right here, but the pin we have on the platform falls on this other property. So this other property, as we can see here, is on the same street as the intended property. As you can see here, we have Yellowstone Road. This other property is also on Yellowstone Road. They must be on the same side of the street, so if we take this as right and this as right and this as left, they are both on the left side of the Yellowstone Road, right? This property right here is the first property to any side of the intended property. So let's say that, for example, the pin would drop on this property right here. This would not be the direct first property, okay? So since this is the first property to any side of the intended property, yes, this could be classified as a next door. And lastly, they have to be on the same block as the intended property. They are on the same block, so Actually, this pin right here, this one, could be classified as next door. So pin should be next door. We actually have rated everything. Let's double check our ratings. Okay, so the query, the user, we understood that they were looking for a category query, which is Jim, plus a location modifier near me. So we know that the user is looking for any result that belongs to this category, and that relevance is based on the location of the user, because the user is expecting the results near their location. Then, is there a navigation result for this query? No, because this is a category query. Category queries do not have navigational results, because any result belonging to that specific category could be excellent. Then we have the result. The title is not in an unexpected language. We have verified that the POI is open and active, so these two do not apply. Relevance, we have checked on Google Maps all the other possible results that were near the location intent, in this case the user location, and there were many more results that could be better satisfying for the request. So this one in particular, the legacy Jim, would be rated bad because of distance, not because of user intent, because this is actually a gym, so it fits the request, but it is too far from the location intent. Name accuracy we rated partially correct, because the name here is missing a space between the word legacy and gym. Classification can be considered correct, so that is not an issue. The only issue is exactly this missing space right here. And for pin, we have verified the actual location of the result in the real world, and we have compared the pin on the platform with the actual location of the result in the real world, and they do not match. Since the pin falls on the next door property, we have rated pin accuracy as next door. Now, the last thing we have to do here is leaving a comment. So, comments are considered mandatory whenever there is any issue with the data presented. In this case, we have many issues here because the relevance is rated bad for distance, so we should add a comment about relevance. So, relevance is bad because there are many other results near the location intent. In this case would be the user location. Then another issue was with the name. Name is partially correct because it is missing a space between legacy and Jim. Then address was correct, so we don't have to include any comment about this. And then pin. Pin is next door as it falls on the immediate next property to the actual location of the result. So we have completed, we rated everything, we have double checked everything. We added a comment about the issues, and we can submit. So here, as you can see, everything is correct. Whenever you see here, so if the texts appear to be green, it means that you have rated correctly. Okay, so here no is the correct, the expected answer. Here no checkbox should be ticked, so we did good. The expected rating for relevance is bad, partially correct, correct. No checkbox here to tick. Pin accuracy next door and our comment. When you click on next, you will get a new survey.